name is Bill05 here, and welcome to a little bit of a interview video I kind of want to make, but this is regarding for today, August 8th of 2024. Yes, today is a day. Today is Five Nights at Freddy's 10-year anniversary. Yes, believe it or not, 10 years ago was the first ever Five Nights at Freddy's game. And to think that 10 years later, all the way up to here, we've got a lot of stuff to do. So I figured for today's special day, I'm going to just share with you people my history of FNAF. Instead, we're not going to make this like a whole review game because I'm sure we all know the games, but I want to kind of share my memories on how this franchise made such a huge impact to me. Because it really has made, honestly, it's given me a little bit of joy in my life, and I love it ever since. So without further ado, we're not going to waste any time. We're just going to get right into it because I want to get as much done as I said to share my awesome, maybe, story to you guys. But without further ado, let's get right into it. And if you guys are really excited for this, don't forget to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to subscribe, turn on those notification bells so you don't miss out on any of my videos. But without further ado, I'm going to share you guys my story of Five Nights at Freddy's. So let's get right into it. We're going to start at the very beginning. Oh yes, Five Nights at Freddy's 1. The game that started it all. Oh freaking boy. So how I'm basically going to do this is always, again, just talk about my history. So we're not going to talk about the game that much. We're just going to share my history. So we're going to have to travel back all the way to literally August of 2014 when literally I was, guessing my age, I was 9 years old around that time. And I remember I was just, doing my normal being time as a 9-year-old. And then I remember I watched Markiplier's video of the first Five Nights at Freddy's game. And I was watching it on my little iPod I had until I was a little invested. I was like, oh, this game looks cool. But I didn't have really a proper console to play it on. Of course, you couldn't play it on console anyways at the time. So what I did was I went ahead and I asked my older brother if I could use his old laptop to play the game. And the game was like only $7 on Steam. So he let me borrow his computer and I was able to play the game. And I remember it was only 3 days after Markiplier uploaded his first video, so August 15th. That was the first ever time I played the first Five Nights at Freddy's, and my goodness, I remember everything about it. I used to play it late at night. I think it was on a weekend, so I was able to actually stay up and play as much of that game as I want. I was so invested by it. I was so scared, but as I said before, I am a major pussy when it comes to horror games. But Five Nights at Freddy's is a game that I actually love being scared at because it fits my persona, I'd say. So I remember everything about the first game being like super scared that Foxy was coming down that hall and the Bonnie and Chica would show up at your door and then Freddy would just randomly show up at the side of the door and then Golden Freddy was there. The phone guy would conserve the powers and shut the doors. Oh, it was so beautiful. I remember everything about that. I just remember, even I showed my friends about it back in the day, and they didn't weren't really a big too fan of it because they were like, oh, it's just kind of boring that you're just sitting in an office playing the whole game. But I was like, no, this is actually fun. And then around that time, it did get a little fun. Got a lot of people to be invested by it, and then that's where we drop into the next game, which we'll get to. But the first game will always be a place in my heart, and I'm sure it will always be a place in everyone's heart for the fans. But for me, being there like about a week after its release was beautiful. So I respect everything for the first game. But now we move on to the sequel, well, or sort of prequel, as I guess everyone would say it is. Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Yes. Everyone was super shocked. We're like, oh my god, the second game? They just did the first one, now they're doing a second one? Yeah, they were. And this game is my favorite of the originals. Like the first three, I was in love with the second game more. I was on the nose of this game, like, oh my god, 10 animatronics, no doors, and you have unlimited power, but you have no doors. You only had the flashlight to use. And you have to wind up a music box on the camera while keeping pressure on every other animatronic in that building, with the wizards, with them being old and rusty and very scary, especially with Bonnie with his faceless head. And then we got the toys, the little cutesy ones, but then like, you know, ones like they go scary like Toy Chica and Mangle. Mangle was amazing. I remember as a kid, I was like, oh my god, Mangle was actually scary looking. It was like a spider, I thought it was, like a spider fox. But of course it wasn't. It was just a, you know, fox. But, oh, and the best part is that I actually remember a lot of times, I wasn't really playing this one on my older brother's laptop. I was actually playing it in school. So, I don't know how many of you people notice this, but have you ever had those days in school where you're just like I had this thing in school, in elementary school. It was called Media Center, where it was just basically you would do some computer work, but when you were done, you get to just like go on the computer, play free games, and do whatever. So what I did was I go on like a little cheap website, and I was able to play the demo of Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and then everyone was watching me play the game, and they're like, wow, this game is actually pretty spooky and cool. Mind tell me what it's called? So I told them, it says Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and then everyone in the classroom, it was the only time I ever got eyes on me. Everyone in the classroom was playing the game on the demo. They did the first, I forgot what the demo was, I'm pretty sure it was like just 3 nights. Oh my god, everyone was playing it, the whole classroom. I was like, oh my god, this is beautiful. Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 will definitely be, as much as the first one is, this game will also be a big place in my heart. I was just, oh, there's nothing more satisfying than 10 animatronics trying to get you all at once, and all you have is a flashlight and a mask. I would always love everything about the second game. Even the puppet was terrifying too. I actually got scared because I thought the puppet was always like the fastest thing in the world next to Foxy, just running to that office and just trying to kill you. Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, you will always be one of my favorites. Next game is Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Why do I say unfortunately? Well, that is because I actually don't have a lot of memory moments of Five Nights at Freddy's 3, if I'm going to be honest. I first heard about the game, and I was excited, of course. I was like, oh yes, a third one already. It's like not even a year yet, and there's already got 3 games. But when I saw what it really was, I was a little bit disappointed. It wasn't as crazy, I guess, but which was probably fine for most people, but I didn't like the fact that it was like all about now just like rebooting the cameras and you have to stay away from the phantoms. But I will have one positivity about the game, is that this is the first game though that actually makes you use the cameras, because of course in the first game your main focus was really looking at either Freddy or Pirates Go for Foxy, and then FNAF 2 was always just about the music box. Although the cameras don't matter, it's all about the music box, just winding it up. But in this game, you actually had to use the cameras to locate where Springtrap is and use the audio. And I was like, okay, that's better. Like, you finally get to use the cameras. But then again, it wasn't really that special to me because I don't really have any moments. I did play it, but I didn't have like too much moments. I actually almost found it a little bit more boring. But I did like how they had a lot of secrets going on here and there. And I did enjoy when finally there was a time when everyone, you know, knew who Purple Guy was. And I may or not have been called Purple Guy because I used to be, of course, a Five Nights at Freddy's nerd in elementary school, and I may have been called William Afton here and there a few times, but that's old history. That was like 9 years ago, so you really blame me? But either way, Five Nights at Freddy's 3, it's special, a little special for me, but not too much because I don't really have any too much memories of the game. So, but it is still amazing. I will definitely enjoy it more. And I really actually can't wait to see what the future holds up actually for characters like Springtrap, which we will get to later on. But moving on to now the next game. Five Nights at Freddy's 4. This one used to actually get me actually scared. Like, I was scared a little bit the first game a little bit, and the second one, not really as much the third one, but the fourth one, oh, I remember I thought that these characters were like literally on nightmare mode. Like, they were literally terrifying. They had sharp teeth, sharp claws. They were all like damaged and withered. Like, literally Chica had like 2 different eye colors, and Foxy didn't have a patch though, which was a little disappointing. but they all looked terrifying, like literally. Like that is the stuff, that's why they're called nightmares, because you would have nightmares of those characters looking like that. Oh, I also remember playing this game too in the school. Well, actually, it was in summer because it was coming out in July of 2015, but I remember playing that game. And oh my god, I had to use headphones for the first time. I didn't usually use headphones when I'm playing these games, but FNAF 4 was the first time I actually had to use headphones. Oh, I was scared. I was like in the school too, so I couldn't scream, so I almost shrieked every single time I get jump scared by Bonnie, Foxy, or Chica. And the cupcake, I tried not to scream, but I'm telling you, you had to be quiet when you're listening to those doors to hear the breathing. I was so scared. I could not do anything. So at one point, I actually couldn't play the game anymore in school, so I had to go ahead, because I had like summer school. Because I'm sure most people had summer school in elementary, just not for like being bad in school, but of course, like, you know, to get some extra work done. So that's what I did. I was in the school for only like 4 hours though, but when I had the free time, I'd play the game. But I would not play the game though, because I was too worried about getting in trouble for screaming at a horror game. So I had to stop, and I had to wait till I eventually was home to play from there. And I've had some good moments of FNAF 4. I do love again the Fun with Plush Trap, the Halloween DLC with Nightmare Mangle, Nightmare Yawn, which is obviously Nightmare Puppet, and when Nightmare and Nightmare Freddy came out and the game was debuted back in 1983, I was like, oh, we might get some good stuff, and the whole bite of 83 was so cool. I was stone-faced shocked, just like Markiplier. I was just flabbergasted that something like that happened to a kid. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this. It was absolutely terrifying. Oh, goodness me, I will never, ever, ever forget that. But overall, FNAF 4 definitely has a special place in my heart compared to FNAF 3, but definitely a very good horror game to the franchise. But not as much as maybe something like FNAF World. Yes, FNAF World. We're gonna bring this game in because this one technically counts, I think. FNAF World, I only played a teeny little bit, so please do not get too mad at me if I don't know much about the game, but I remember it was sort of like, it was basically you build a team, right, and you had to build a team to battle, like, waves of, like, it's kind of like that game nowadays, like Marvel Strike Force, where you build a team, you use attacks to face down enemies like that, you go exploring around the places a lot. I don't have too much, unfortunately, nostalgic memory because this game was actually a little bit tougher for me to play than the other ones. I know, it's probably not, but I never got into this one because also it was very cute. Like, I was like, wait, this is weird. Why is it like this? It was like 2016 me, I was like, why is the game like this? It's a little weird, isn't it? But, I mean, it was what it was, though, and it was very cute and everything. I, unfortunately, even after this time, still never had the good chance to play it, but I might give it a try somewhere. I don't know about this year, but the game looks a little bit too, not crazy, not bad, just, you know, I don't really see myself having too much of a blast, but hey, who knows, maybe just because I haven't played it doesn't mean, hey, I'm calling you bad. I think it's very intuitive and fun. It's just that unfortunately I have no big memories on this game, unfortunately, just like the third game. But I do think that it definitely fits in, but I do remember too that after FNAF World, that was it. That was the big shutdown. Like, Scott was done, he said he was done making these games, and I remember that big poster that said just, I think, thank you Scott at the top, and had all the characters from the first game all the way to FNAF World. But then Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. I was thinking at first glance when I saw this, little freaking 11-year-old me was like, what? A Five Nights at Freddy's game, but for girls. That's originally what I thought it was. I kid you not. I literally thought Sister Location was all about just for girls. But obviously it wasn't, because it was actually bringing back that horror element. You actually were able to move around, not move 3D movement, but like sort of like a straight line, and you were still stuck in one place, like, you know, moving your head here and there, clicking buttons. But oh my goodness, the Sister Location was absolutely stunning. Like, I remember, like, just, like, going through the Ballora Gallery still scares me today. Even when I did it before, it was just terrifying. like, you just going through a dark hallway and you see this luminous figure just going by. Ooh, no. But I will never, ever forgive that. And even the Funtime Auditorium too with Funtime Foxy. Oh, I don't like it. It's so scary. I don't like it, man. Because you don't really expect the jump scares unless you actually just are purposely messing with that. And even the break room with Funtime Freddy was just easier to pass on that. And then with Ennard coming up in front of the TV at that one point with the secret ending as well. Oh god. So this location to me was probably like my second to third favorite because it had more of a challenge. But obviously Night 4 was when people literally stopped playing that game because literally Night 4 was, oh my god, it was like Mega Knight crack. Like you could not really get through that level without being like extremely focused and hardcore on that crap. It was ridiculous. You had to keep pressing those little switches to make sure the spring locks don't all go off, and if they do, then a mini arena would kill you. Ugh, no, no. I'm getting chills already thinking about it. No. But then the ending though, with the little secret ending actually with Springtrap walking out though of the, I'm pretty sure it kind of was the fire, or if he was just walking out somewhere, was very nice. Because it was like the only time you actually almost saw like an original animatronic appear right there. But so this location though, very scary. Kind of like FNAF 4 type of scary. Like it was literally not, it was not meant for a girl game or whatever. It was scary. Even Circus Baby and even the rest of the Ballora, Funtime Foxy, Lull, the Gendo, the little bitty babs. Oh, they always have this frightening appearance, and I'm like, how are these things for kids? They look so scary. Like 11-year-old me was literally just like, I can't wrap my head around this. It's nuts, absolute nuts. Ugh. But then after that, a year went by and no other games were made until Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria Simulator, or was it also known as Freddy Fazbears Pizzeria Simulator. This game is my least favorite of the whole franchise. I actually had to skip this game because when I saw what it truly was, I had to skip it because I remember, okay, off topic of Five Nights at Freddy's for a little bit, I played this game originally called Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, and that game was all about you building your own Jurassic Park and everything, and it was always about like, you know, trying to get like new dinosaurs and new stuff going on to make your park more awesome. That's what Pizzeria Simulator was, and once I heard that Pizzeria Simulator was like that, and it wasn't really about like, you know, doing too much stuff-ish, I was like, dude, I mean, the premise I will give is I believe the game was for free, so that was like awesome, but the fact that it was like that was like, come on, I was a little disappointed. And even then, nowadays, I really just don't want to play the game ever. I don't think I will. Even after 10 years, well, into the franchise, but actually about almost 7 years of the game being out from here, I probably will still never play it because, first of all, it has my least favorite characters in the entire franchise, the Medicore Melodies. Everything about these 5 people, I actually thought El Chip was one of them too, but he actually isn't. He's part of the Posh Pizzeria, so I'm going to exclude him out, but I didn't like him too much either. But these 5 freaking characters, I hate them all. And you're going to see why when I get to the next game, but I cannot stand looking at these 5. I just think that they're absolutely stupid. Absolutely stupid. But I have zero memories with this game, zero thoughts of this game. It's not bad, I guess. It's just, to me, I didn't want to play a game where it's literally, again, you building your own like pizzeria park filled with stuff in it, and you have to upgrade, because the problem was is in these types of games I could never advance. So in Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, I could never get like a different dinosaur. I would always get the same 2 every time. I do the objectives, but I never go anywhere else. I always get the same stuff, and that's why I don't want to play the Pizzeria Simulator even today, because it's just like, it's not as hard. It's just, I don't want to do that stuff. I don't want to freaking do all that like I did before years ago. So I had to pass on Pizzeria Simulator, but honestly, I don't regret it. I honestly just, it's my least favorite game in the whole franchise. I don't have any big hate towards it, but I just don't like it that much. So, especially, but it's actually kind of good because, again, those characters have my 5 least favorite characters in the whole franchise. But I mean, it was cool though to see like Scrap Baby and Bolt Freddy and Ashton actually back from the fire, like how he actually survived, and it was a fitting end. I mean, I remember when Pizzeria Simulator was once again the end, like no more. Again, it was done. Like, or the story, I guess, was done. But then of course that leads us to Ultimate Custom Night. So this one isn't, of course, a actual game. This one, well, it is a game, but like, of course, it's what it is. It's a custom night, but you have 50 freaking animatronics coming out to kill you from the first game all the way to the 6th. And man, oh man, after all these times, I've literally still never wanted to attempt the hardcore 50-20 mode. Like, I'm gonna say this right now. Many of you will not believe this, but that's fine. Because, I mean, I get it that most people wouldn't believe me. I mean, I'm not a big guy anyways, but I've actually attempted every single 20 mode. I've literally done FNAF 1 420. I have done FNAF 2 1020. I have done aggressive nightmare mode on FNAF 3. I have done 20 on FNAF 4, as well as like the extra like aggressive nightmare modes from like I think the Halloween time was. I have done the Golden Freddy mode in this location. But when 50-20 was a thing in Ultimate Custom Night, I was like, nope, I don't care if you need to just last 4.5 minutes. I couldn't even get to 30 seconds. That's how crazy it was. And I tried learning everyone's mechanics here and there, but I just could not do it. And I mean, if anyone's here watching and you've actually beat 50-20 mode, I give you a big round of applause for that, because wow, you are actually the FNAF god. I mean, I feel like I'm a demigod. If I've done all the 20 modes except for this one, I would consider myself a demigod, because I've done all the other hard ones except for 50-20. So I would just call myself a demigod, at least doing this all. But will I ever do 50-20? I really hardly doubt it. I want to do it so bad just to feel really accomplished, but I don't think it's possible. Well, I mean, say that to Dawko. He did it before, but I'm just saying though that for me, there's no way I don't think I could do it. There's no way I could do it at all. But if there's anything willing to try, maybe I'll try. But the game was a little small, but it was for free too, so I'm glad for that. But then FNAF went again about dead for a little bit, for another year, until the best freaking game was out there. Five Nights at Freddy's Help 101. By far the best horror VR experience game to possibly win, I believe, a reward if I'm not mistaken. Everything about this game was so fun, and everything, I remember playing it for the first time non-VR, and then when I finally had the chance to about a year ago, it was amazing, honestly. But it was very fun. I'm very glad that I had a blast playing. I'm very glad it was actually scary and not like, you know, you being just like outside a screen and you're actually inside the office clicking buttons and shutting doors. But it was very, very fun. I definitely loved everything about Help 101. It was definitely a blast. It did not disappoint at all. It was one of the original best. Until that game also dropped its DLC, The Curse of Dreadmere, which was even cooler in some cases. It was definitely a little bit cooler and funner than scary, but the core maze was still definitely scary enough. But then, after that game, was unfortunately a bit of a delay till we got the next game, which is Five Nights at Freddy's AR Special Delivery. The game was shut down recently this year, and I really feel like I need to give it some respect by talking about it just for a little bit. It was a very fun game I had when COVID hit, and it was definitely very fun to grind and collect those rewards like the suits, the skins, and the CPUs. And it was very fun with the different mechanics that each character had, but it's really a shame that Lumix didn't carry on with it. But unlike its continuers, Forsaken AR Darkest Delivery and Animatronic Universe on Roblox, they'll keep it going, especially 2 more other games that are coming out in the future. So even though FNAF AR is dead, which is a little bit of a sad thing, at least those 2 games will keep up the spirit to keep the games alive as much as they can to honor Five Nights at Freddy's AR Special Delivery. So after so long, we finally get our first good look at Secured Reach back in at least October of 2021 was our proper first good look, because February was like a little bit different, but in October 2021 we got our full first good look at Secured Reach, and it was unlike anything we expected. We honestly thought that game was going to be a lot different. I thought it was. I remember the first time I played it was on my PS4 before I finally played it on the PC, and It was very broken though, very broken the game was and glitchy, but for some reason I still have fun with it. You know, it's a very rushed and unfinished that no one probably playtested the game at all. It was just completely fun. I could not handle saying like this game really just sucks. It probably does, but I just can't say it because you know it's a very fun game honestly. So I can't really hold back as to saying that you know the game should not really be that bad. But it was fun though, very glitchy, but I do love everything about the game too. I made a lot of good memories with that game. And then a year and a half later, we finally got Ruin DLC, which was a bit of a sort of little expansion pack to Security Breach, as in like a major earthquake shattered the Pizzaplex, and now the place is well in ruin, no pun intended. But it was nice to see like the continuation, a stronger character like Cassie instead of freaking Gregory whining like a little bitch every time. Oh, so annoying. But Cassie was actually strong. And it was a little sad between the relationship of Cassie and Roxy. I will admit, I almost did shed a tear at one point during that ending. But for everything else about the game, though, Rome though was definitely better than the original game because it was less glitchy and less buggy. But it was definitely a lot better, though, that's for sure. And well, the mystery still remains as where the ending. Will the Mimic be seen more? Will we be seeing more of the Mimic? Did Cassie survive? Or who knows? We're just gonna have to wait till the next game to come out. And after so many years, since I believe 2015, we've finally done it, people. We've got the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Very good movie. I mean, I wish it could have gone better a little bit in most cases. Like, I do wish it was just a teeny bit more. I mean, of course, Five Nights at Freddy's is not meant to really be that scary because, of course, it's not for kids, but like as you can tell, it's supposed to be sort of like you know the animatronics for kids. So it's not really supposed to be like too scary, but it's supposed to be scary to its some content. But the movie did great. I think that it did pretty well for what it was supposed to be from waiting about 8 years, anyways. So I was really glad about that. See that the movie did really well. And I cannot wait to see how the second one and the third one goes because it's going to be super duper fantastic. Oh, I cannot wait to see that. And if you thought that the first Help Wanted 1 was better, oh, wait till you see this. Help Wanted 2 was even better and probably best known as the best Five Nights at Freddy's video game to date, and I agree with that. When I finally played the game, finished recording all the stuff, oh yeah, it was by far the best game ever now of FNAF in history now. There's so much you could do in that game for being a technician, or just a fast-paced player, or just downright being a food service person. It was absolutely lots of fun. And it was absolutely a blast. Sorry about that. It was absolutely a blast to play, and I really wish that I wish it didn't end, honestly, because it was just so much fun. But I do wish that they will add a DLC eventually to the game, like a summer DLC or maybe another Halloween DLC, to keep it going, and maybe we'll get in some like extra characters here and there, like Molt Freddy. Hopefully, that'd be nice. But overall, Help Wanted 2 was definitely fun. I have a lot of great memories with that game as well. And I really, you know, honestly, I would love them to make a Help Wanted 3 eventually, but why do I feel like that's not going to happen? It probably won't, but I would just say it would be amazing if it did, unfortunately. But who knows? The future holds up many surprises, so we'll just have to see. That does it, guys. That is about 10 years in of Five Nights at Freddy's throughout the years. So of course there's been some fan-made games, and of course, like just like what I was talking about with Forsaken and AU, they're gonna be doing those games still. But I want to cover literally the whole 10 years about my experience with everything about these games, and how much fun they were, and how much of a big impact this franchise has on my heart. I was 9 years old when the first Five Nights at Freddy's came out, and now 10 years later, I am 19 now. And to think that another 10 years will go by and I'm going to be 29. That's pretty nuts. That is pretty nuts. And I can't wait to see what goes on more in the future. As far as the rest of this year goes, I don't think anything much. By the time I'm actually making this video, the Into the Pit game that was just now released, I believe last night, has now hit Steam stores, and will I play it for the first time like on my own, or will I save it for the channel? Well, of course, that depends. If I can't have time to put it on the channel, then I'll just play it on my own time, have the fun what I can, and then I'll put it on the channel eventually. But I'll have to see if I have the time for that though. But then, we got so much more coming up. For the rest of 2024, unfortunately, nothing too big is going to be coming up though, unfortunately. But for next year, we got a lot. So once again, going back to Help 1 and 2, I heard that Steelwood was going to a place called PAX before, where they're going to show a lot more stuff about like new teasers and whatever for the future. So I almost thought that maybe they were actually going to show maybe a Help 1 and 2 DLC. Which, if they do, that'd be awesome. I hope there will be a Help 1 2 DLC because, well, I mean, look at, you got Help 101 has a DLC, and you got Secure Breach that has a DLC. I don't think it would be fair if Help 1 2 didn't have a DLC, so I hope it does. But the next game, of course, if anyone actually, by the time I'm recording this, about 2 days ago, was the trailer for the next Steelwood game. Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic. When that title was released, I was so confused actually. I was like, wait, Secret of the Mimic? That's a little confusing because I was hoping that it was actually going to be like a Fredbear's Family Diner game, but maybe it is, because if you pause the game at a certain point, after the marionette, I believe that is, pops out of the box, it states in the year 1979. That is 4 years before the Bite of 83. So maybe we'll actually get something else containing the Fall Fest in the 1970s before Fredbear's Family Diner, and maybe we'll get some info about who the Mimic really is if it's called Secret of the Mimic. I just want to hope for it, but I don't know, we gotta wait till that game comes out, which is gonna be next year though, as well as some other games. I mean, we got the now official, finally, Joy Creation game as well, coming out too for next year, so we'll just have to see how the future goes. But as far as everything else though, dude, 2025 is gonna be such a big year for FNAF, and I can't wait. Honestly, 10 years have gone by. We've made a movie, we've made lots of games, and we've made a lot of good memories. How will the next 10 years go? Well, I think so far so good, because we got a lot of stuff for next year. We got the FNAF 2 movie coming out, and like literally a year and like 4 months from now, the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie will be released with all the toys and possibly the Wizards, and I really cannot wait to see that movie, because as I said before with FNAF 2, I love Five Nights at Freddy's 2 the most. I cannot wait to see what, they do, Blumhouse does with that movie. And then eventually, probably in 2027 to 2028, we will get Five Nights at Freddy's 3 with Matthew Lillard coming back as Springtrap. I'm a little bit anxious still about that movie, because I don't know how that movie's gonna end, or even like go from, because I have no idea like how it's gonna go from here and there. But I do hope that it does go splendidly well. But anyways, guys, that about does it. I want everyone to do a favor right now. If you made it up to this point, congratulations. I hope you enjoyed me sharing my memories about this franchise and why does it hold a special place in my heart. But I'd like everyone right now to do a favor, or do me a favor. I want everyone right now to go ahead, go on your phones, tablets, PS4s, Xboxes, Nintendo Switches, or computers, and I want everyone right now to go ahead and play the first Five Nights at Freddy's. Because I want you guys to just relive the memories, think back to about 10 years ago precisely when the game was released, and share your best moments of the game as well as all the others of the game in the comments below. I would love to see what you guys have to say about your memories of each game. But till then though, that's it. But anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this little interview, but not really, more like a story of myself being involved in the whole franchise of Five Nights at Freddy's. But anyways guys, I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for notifications for all my new videos. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Be outside, go get your friends, go celebrate 10 years of Five Nights at Freddy's. And let's hope that the next 10 years goes even better. Alrighty guys, I will stop it here. I want you guys to do me that favor, go play the first Five Nights at Freddy's and have a blast. Alrighty? And I will catch you guys on the next video. Bye bye.